Kevin, sure. Let's give the Celtics some credit. And I'm going to say, Nick, because we always hear, I even heard Gilbert Arenas recently on a podcast talking about Rodman, Jordan, Pippen, they couldn't guard Kevin Durant. This is 90s basketball. The refs are letting the Celtics play 90s defense.
They playing 2 or 3 guys on me sometimes. I'm off the ball. They, mucking up actions when I run off stuff. Horford leaving his man to come over there hit me sometimes. They just playing 2 or 3 guys hit me wherever I go. And that's just the nature of the beast in the playoffs. And, I feel like I got a couple good shots there in the fourth that just ain't go down, but I see a few of their guys around me every time I get the ball, or when I'm setting up, and so I got to be more patient, but also play fast sometimes too, and off the ball just be able to move a little faster, screen a little harder for my guys to get free. But yeah, just watch film and get better.
I was just asking. I don't know what happened.
LeBron said, see, when you secure yourself, you can give kudos. That's what I do. Yeah, you do that.
I know LeBron between the lines is taking a shot at Jordan.
He ain't taking no shot at Jordan.
Yeah, but he's throwing himself with Dwayne into the same batch with Jordan and Scottie. More skilled, LeBron or Michael Jordan?
Jordan is more skilled. Better player.
Oh,
Go
come on.
James.
Well, that's
James.
absurd contention.
What's up, world? This your boy Tommy Mab, and I came to basically give you guys my thoughts on the whole situation with Kevin Durant. And I say this because generally I don't try to get in the middle of dumb shit, because dumb shit, comes from dumb people. And if you get in an argument with a dumb person, it generally will bring you down to that level and eat you with experience. And so, I understand that. But I don't feel I'm dealing with a dumb person in this instance. Chris Broussard said something that I found to be highly ignorant and stupid, right? Because this is another way that geezers try to get. Every discussion gets turned into somehow a discussion about Michael Jordan. Because all these geezers, they cannot update Michael Jordan's resume, right? So they have to either demean every player in this generation have to demean every player in this generation to exalt, to inflate Michael Jordan's numbers, right? They have to demean all the accomplishments of other people. It's like everybody else has to basically get an asterisk next to their name so that Michael Jordan can always stay the GOAT. So this new thing that they're going about is everybody's up in arms because they had a discussion about whether or not Kyrie, Irving, and KD were the most skilled duo to ever play the game. I think that's LeBron James and Dwayne Wade agree with it. I think this is dumb as hell. Okay, KD and Kyrie are not the most skilled duo ever. Okay, skill goes beyond dribbling and shooting. Okay, they're the best dribbler. Because I don't even think Kevin Durant is that good of a dribbler. So he's a great shooter, obviously, and for his size, and he's like a 7-foot guard. A really good 7-foot guard. So I can understand why people would say he's skilled. Now Kevin Durant is possibly one of the most skilled players to ever play the game. I will give him that. Kyrie Irving is one of the best dribblers to ever play the game. His fundamentals are crazy. So yeah, I can understand why someone would say, I'm most skilled. But when it comes to basketball, passing is a skill. Rebounding is a skill. Defense is a skill. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is one of the most skilled players. That ain't even the craziest shit I heard. Skip Bayless said that you could take Michael Jordan by himself and with anybody else and he would be more. Skip Bayless is a moron, okay? Let's start out by saying that. Michael Jordan was not damn skilled, okay? And even Shannon Sharp bought in his bullshit. Oh, he was skilled. He was not skilled. Michael Jordan was not a skilled. Michael Jordan couldn't shoot threes. He couldn't. He wasn't a great passer. And defensively, he didn't guard the number one player. So how the hell is he skilled? What makes him skilled? Because he can shoot a lot of shots. And you can't even say he's skilled in shooting a lot of shots because he was incredibly inefficient when he was shooting those shots. He's a career 40% from the field shooter. How the hell is he skilled? No. The funniest thing about that situation is the person that even puts them in discussion is fucking Scottie Pippen. Because all of the things that Scottie Pippen could do. Scottie Pippen was the thing that made them the most skilled. Jordan could score a lot, and Scottie Pippen could do everything else, including score. So to X out Scottie Pippen would be Xing out defense, would be Xing out passing, would be Xing out the long ball, which Scottie Pippen was better at shooting than Jordan. Dribbling at his size. Scottie Pippen is one of the most skilled players to ever play the game, and this moron said you should X Scottie Pippen out of the discussion because Scottie Pippen shouldn't be in the mutual discussion because Scottie wasn't what made Michael Jordan skilled. He is a moron, okay? And to sit there and listen to this guy, how he can get a show where he is asked to speak on sports when he is one of the worst sports analysts I've ever seen. It has to be one of the most moronic things I have ever heard in my life. How can an idiot like that have a show where he is paid close to $3 to $5 million a damn year to get on TV and say dumb shit like that? Like, I don't get it. And when Shannon Sharp agreed, I was like, okay, this is just paid theatrics. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Michael Jordan is one of the most skilled players to ever play. Michael Jordan. One of the most inefficient players in the history of the damn game. He is nowhere near high in PER or anything like that. He's one of the most inefficient players to ever play the game. What makes him skilled? The fact that he could shoot a lot? Like, it blows your mind. But that wasn't even what prompted me to make the video, because idiots are going to say dumb things. That's like waking up in the morning. You expect Skip Bayless to say something that's stupid. But what I've been getting from these geezers is this revisionist history where they're going back and making the players of the 90s so much more skilled than they actually were. Okay? You didn't have big men who could shoot threes in the 90s. Rare. Most of them played like Andre Drummond, which nobody would confuse as a skilled player. But now all of a sudden, a guy like Giannis is not skilled. A guy like Kevin Durant is not skilled. A guy like... It's ridiculous. Okay? None of the guys in the 90s were more skilled than the guys today. None. Zero. Like, well, you look at Ross Strickland and Kyrie Irving, they're basically the same person. You're a moron. Ross Strickland could never shoot or score like Kyrie Irving can. That is a lie. That is not true. Ross Strickland could dribble, but like 90% of people who grow up in the hood, he can dribble, but he can't shoot. So if he wasn't laying the ball up, his dribbling did absolutely nothing for him. You can tell Kyrie Irving dad put in measures that made it so that even if he got cut off, he can shoot. You know how I know that? Because as a person who trains a child, you understand things that you had to learn growing up. And so you give those things to your kid. You realize, okay, this is what I had, and this is what slowed me down. So I'm going to make sure my child understands that. The beauty of being a person who coaches your kid is not so much that you understand that you teach them everything they need to know. It's the fact that you're always there to continue to evolve their game. Hey, this is what I saw this time. You should work on this. This is what I saw this time. You should work on this. That's what a father or a coach's role is to evolve the player. Fix the kinks. Then you pass them on and someone else fixes more kinks. Pass them on, someone else fixes more kinks. You're just there to iron things out when they start to get rough. You can tell Kyrie Irving had that. So that for even though he learned how to dribble probably from Rod Strickland, doesn't mean he learned to shoot. He probably learned to shoot from his dad. So to try to sit up there and say Rod Strickland and Kyrie Irving are the same player, you're a moron. They're not. They're not even close. And what really pissed me off is Broussard said, well, if you look at it, they are talking about this. Kevin Durant played 90s basketball. Moron. That's not 90s basketball. They couldn't play zone in the 90s, you moron. That's not true. That is not true. They couldn't play zone. So that's not 90s basketball. That's physical zone that they could not play in the 90s. Stop saying bullshit to try to squeeze in a narrative to help Jordan. Okay? That is not 90s basketball. They could not play zone. That is not 90s basketball. I'm so sick and tired of these geezers. It's like one thing I hate about Jordan fans is starting to be what I hate about all old basketball fans. They want to prop up their era so much that they do it by hook or crook. They're physical. Spud Webb was 5'5". Muggsy Bogues was 5'4". How much physical could have been? He was an all-star. Spud Webb was an all-star. Muggsy Bogues was a damn all-star at 5'4". How the hell could Isaiah Thomas couldn't stay in the league because he couldn't play defense? But somehow Muggsy Bogues was able to play and be an all-star. Spud Webb was able to play and be an all-star. Tiny Archibald was able to play and be an all-star. Yet none of these players would have been able to play today. Because they would have put him in a zone, they would have put him in a pick and roll, would have forced him and just kept shooting over top of him. You know why Muggsy Bogues could do that back in the day? Because none of them was skilled. They couldn't put the ball on the ground. You could put Muggsy Bogues on someone as long as he got him outside at the high in the key. In a zone, it's harder to hide a bad player than it is when you're switching already anyways, because everybody's doing it. You don't just have a person that so at that when you're playing a zone, a guy like Isaiah Thomas or whatever. When you're playing man to man, a guy like Isaiah Thomas can play more because at that point they couldn't do the screens that they do now. All the stuff that they're doing now offensively and some of the things they do defensively they couldn't do. But now you can isolate a player like an Isaiah Thomas because the big man can shoot. So because the big man can shoot, he doesn't have to stay under the goal. So he can be running and you have to pick him up on a high pick and roll because he can shoot the mid-range and a three. So now when he goes on that screen, you cannot just go under the screen, go over the screen or go under the screen. You have to make a choice and you have to switch. And when you switch, now I got to switch Isaiah Thomas on a person that's outweighs him about 50, 60 pounds and about, a foot taller than he is. That's all day. Muggsy Bogues would have never been able to play today, but he was able to be an all-star there. So stop giving me this bull. Stop trying to feed me this crap. I'm sick and tired of hearing it from these geezers. They are liars. This is 90. This is not damn 90 basketball. They couldn't play zone. This is 2022 basketball where you can be physical and play zone. Only difference is that the Celtics have the personnel to do it. Other teams don't have the personnel to do it. That is not no difference. I watch the games with LeBron and I watch almost every basketball game that comes on. Everybody does that. They all get physical. They all block you out when you try to get. Only difference is the Celtics have no matter who they switch onto Kevin Durant, they can keep throwing bodies at him. That's the problem. Normal. That's why they're the number one defense in the freaking league. You moron. They're not there. That's not 90s basketball. They're just a really good defense because they can be physical. And they're not giving up anything. Other teams, if they switch Al Horford onto a guy like Kyrie Irving, they're in trouble. But the Celtics can do it because Al Horford is such a great defender as a big man. So is Tice. So picking Tice back up really shored them up. When they get Williams back, it's going to be so hard to beat them because they can switch so often. Defensively, they are such a juggernaut. So they got nothing to do with no damn 90s basketball. But I'm just sick and tired of these geezers trying to find ways to inkle that in. This is our 90s basketball. I don't want to hear it. That's 90s basketball. You're a moron. That's not no 90s basketball. They're playing a zone, dumbass. Even you ask Kevin Durant, he will tell you they were playing a zone. You couldn't play zone in the 90s, so how the hell is it a 90s defense? Or are you just trying to find a way to prop up your argument at Jordan, even though a losing argument? And I'm sick and tired of it. Oh, you can't compare it. Say that LeBron and D-Wade, yeah, they're the most skilled players. All these geezers. Michael Jordan, yeah. First of all, I would put Michael Jordan them second. Okay? I would put Pippen and damn Horace Grant are closer to skill than Pippen and Michael Jordan. But I'll say this. And I say that, I know people like, that's not an asinine statement. Grant and Pippen were versatile. They did all things: rebounding, passing, mid-range shooting, defense. Michael Jordan was a great defender and shot, and I wouldn't even call him a great shooter. He shot a lot of shots. So I don't classify that as being skilled. I classify that as being great. He's a great player, but that's not skilled basketball. Chris Paul is skilled basketball. LeBron James is skilled basketball. That means they do so many different things that takes skill to do, both mentally and physically. The most skilled player that ever played basketball is LeBron James. And to sit up there and hear Shannon Sharp tell Skip Bayless, oh yeah, well LeBron James is the most skilled player. Jordan is more skilled, but LeBron is a better player. No, LeBron is more skilled and a better player. What? Michael Jordan is not even a skilled player. He was a guy who was incredibly inefficient, shot a lot of shots, and didn't make a lot of the shots he shot. What makes him skilled? Was he crossing people up like freaking Allen Iverson or Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry? No. Was he shooting like them? No. Hell, Larry Bird was more skilled than damn Michael Jordan. Magic Johnson wasn't. Michael Johnson wasn't skilled at damn all. He could pass and play, but defensively he wasn't that great. He was good, but he wasn't great. And let me so much that you would tout that as one of his defining skills. He was a great passer, great floor general, but he was not. He wasn't. He couldn't shoot. He was Ben Simmons with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the most skilled players to ever play the game. Even though he couldn't really dribble. So, what I'm trying to say is that everybody bows out when it's their time. The 6 seed guys, your Archibalds and And I mean, your Oscar Robinsons and Hakeem and Kareems, and they get to the point where they realize these guys have evolved the game. It's not the same game anymore. These guys are way more athletic. They're way more skilled than we used to be. They can bow out. The 90s guys get on my damn nerve. They don't want to bow out. They want to try to have this argument that their era was better, even though their players couldn't do half the shit the players now are doing. You got guys who are 7 foot, taking people off the dribble, shooting threes, crossing people over like guards. And you try to tell me Patrick Ewing was as skilled as Kevin Durant? Get off the crack. Patrick Ewing was as skilled as Jokic? Come on, man. Like, stop it. You know that you... Karl Malone was as skilled as freaking Jaylen Brown, LeBron James. I mean, we could go run the gambit of how many people I would put before Karl Malone as far as skill goes. And he was the best freaking power forward of his era. He couldn't play with Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan would have abused Karl Malone. And did. It just blows my mind. It really does. They had some skilled players. David Robinson was extremely skilled. Reggie Miller. What's his name? Charles Barkley was skilled. They had some skilled players. But they weren't on the level of these guys today. Stop it. It wasn't the defense that why they couldn't. Because if you played that type of team, they still could have done backstream. They still could have done pick and rolls. They could have done all those things if they had shooters. The difference is they could play physical because you couldn't shoot. They had a guy on the court that was basically, if you kept him out of the paint, he was useless. And that generally wasn't just usually the power forward couldn't shoot or the center couldn't shoot. The three was generally a guy who could play defense, and yeah, he could shoot, but that really only came about around the time of the Magic. Before the Magic, nobody really played like that. When the 3-and-D guy where he shoots the ball all the time. That was Jordan's era. I mean, that was more Pippen's era than Jordan's era. But that was when it started to change, and the 3 turned into a more of an offensive position, when before it was more of a defensive position. So for the most part, you had 3 guys on the court who generally weren't scorers. You had 1 that was anchoring the defense generally, and 2 that were just there to rebound and protect the rim. So you really only had 2 skilled players on the court generally, the point guard and the shooting guard. And the shooting guard generally just shot. He just got set up by the point guard, and the point guard got him the ball and he scored. It wasn't really like I mean, yes, they were great players, but you can't compare a guy like a DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine to Clyde Drexler. Like they're completely different types of players. Not saying that Clyde Drexler couldn't have developed those skills had he been born in his era. I'm pretty sure he could have. But my point I'm trying to make is that Clyde Drexler wasn't asked to be as skilled as Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan or a guy of that ilk. So I'm just pointing out those things. Because I'm pissed off and I'm tired of these geezers trying to rewrite history to make these people into deify these people when I think it's just ridiculous. Anyways, please, if you have not subscribed, comment, let me know what you think down below, and let's get this discussion going, because I'm tired of these geezers. And I'm pretty sure y'all tired of these geezers too, so I want to hear what y'all got to say about these geezers, because I'm sick of it. Alright, y'all. Peace.